Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again with another spawn camp of the Wuthering Waves Twitter. And I knew it was going to be a good idea to spawn camp the Woo-Wah Twitter on this evening right after Gamescom, because obviously Kuro had to do something with all of the crazy announcements, right, that were occurring across all of those different games. They don't want the spotlight to be lost. And we've got the Hsin drip marketing over here. Holy Hsin. And now it's time for us to have a bit of a conversation about it. So let's just get it started over here with like the post-lament anthropossene, the first paragraph. Let's hear the quote from Hsin. To walk among their joys and stand guard over the ever-glowing lantern. And so I think this is a very sort of like interesting way to like lead us into her character, because she's done basically none of that in any of the story that we've seen so far in this goddamn game. She's talked to like 2 or 3 people, and the kind of like idea that I think a lot of people have gotten is that she's basically kind of been secretive, right? Hasn't really told us a lot, has been sort of like leading us on like a bit of a, some could say like a bit of a goose chase, right? This is a scene from the beginning of the 3.6 quest. It's not really spoilers because you only have to pay like 2 minutes to get here. She basically just says, hey, Qing Zhao, you could go ahead and like exercise my authority in my stead. Yeah, you could just be the Sentinel for me. And throughout the quest, she basically plays the role. Qing Zhao basically plays the role of a Sentinel when it comes to saving the region. I think most of us can agree with that. And so I do think it's like very ironic. I do think it's pretty ironic for her to have like a statement like this, because it seems like she's doing everything but stand guard. But that'll likely lead us into what her role is going to be in version 3.7, because like a lot of people have said, right? She seems like she's been in the background. So now let's go ahead. Let's get this drip marketing. Let's get this splash art up on the screen. And let's take a look at what's going on over here, because this is kind of fucking crazy, isn't it? We're going to have 2 separate forms that you're just seeing visible right up front. You kind of got like the whole... I don't really know. Is that like the 9-tailed version? I would imagine that's like the 9-tailed version. Maybe something like that over here where, you can see her transforming into a literal fox in the middle of like the soy part of the 3.5 quest. And another talent she has is becoming really big and then summoning like, red lightning all over the place. Yeah, that's like one of her things that she does. And so I'm wondering if she's going to have like this bigger form over here. Maybe that's the one in the background. That's the one that we see over here, and it's like fully glowing and everything like that. And then we have her base form over here, right? Which you've already seen plenty of throughout the game. Another thing that I want to highlight your guys' attention to, and this is going to be the Wuthering Waves 3.7 teaser. You guys can see all of like the little like building blocks, right? All of the little sort of like structures in the background. And I think it's very clear where the inspiration of this is actually coming from, right? We all remember that in the what was it, at the end of the 3.6 live stream, while all these goofy ass little echoes were doing their goofy ass little dances, where did we see Rover and good old Suo Ming in the background over there? Who do we see like that? Yeah, that kind of looks like Hsin, right? That kind of looks like Hsin, and a lot of the stuff that you're seeing in here, right? It looks like the same similar sort of structures, that whole Infinity Castle sort of vibe that is going to be present over there. And so I can imagine like the structures, her making her own sort of like domain, that sort of stuff might just be built into her kit as well. And that's going to be pretty damn cool, isn't it? Now it's time for us to have a bit of a conversation about the role, the attribute, the stuff that she's going to be having. As you're all familiar, right? Electro Rover exists in the game as a character that you unlock via Hsin's power. That's literally in lore how it occurs. And as you've likely seen from, all of the different abilities that they have in their kit, all of the different sequence nodes, all of that, a big keyword that you see in here really often throughout the kit is Electro Flare. Electro Flare basically is the whole vibe of this character, alongside dealing resonance skill damage. And so we all know that Electro Flare is this debuff, right? That's going to like stack up to 10, and you're really going to want those teammates that are going to enable it in a bunch of different ways. And I think a lot of people have taken a look at the kits of certain units, like, well, let's just be real here. Let's just take a look at this kit over here. We got Soy Soy. We all remember her, right? We all remember this character from back in the day. Yeah, we all remember where her outro skill over here has that special mechanic where it's going to increase your attack by up to 50% if you're able to consume negative statuses. And as you can see, right, which keyword do you end up seeing again? Electro Rage, right? And so, naturally, you're probably getting the same sort of idea that I am when it comes to Hsin, when it comes to her kit. This is the Electro Flare sub DPS, and if you're interested in what their concerto, their outros, this is why there is sub DPS. 25% all damage amp after resonators with the Electro Core inflict negative statuses, right? You see what's going on over here. And so that seems to be the whole free-to-play situation when it comes to this character, right? You're really going to want a unit like Rover who's going to apply that Electro Flare, and of course, probably a unit like Soy Soy as well, who's going to be able to provide all those buffs in the background. And then naturally, right, this is the unit that I think everybody has been keeping top of mind as stuff's been going on. That's going to be Booling. Because what does Booling do, ladies and gentlemen? Well, she kind of like exists as another character on the roster. And who's gotten a bit of a revival, right? In Wuthering Waves 3.6. Who have we seen again very recently, right? Who's the highlight of the most recent showcase that we got over here? Would make a good bit of sense, right? If Booling actually had some meta relevancy for once in her life outside of just, you know, some resonant skill damage teams. Because what does Booling's S6 over here? What does Booling's S6 actually do? Grant 50% resonant skill damage bonus to the active resonator in the team. And so obviously that works well with Electro Rover, who actually ends up being a resonant skill damage dealer, sort of in their sub DPS form. And so I have a lot of thoughts when it comes to Hsin. I have a lot of ideas. My take over here is that I think she's actually going to be a resonance skill Electro main DPS, because that's like a role that we actually don't have in the game, right? Zhang Liao is our Electro Liberation, though he sucks. And then we have Augusta, who's going to be our Electro Heavy. We don't have an Electro resonance skill main DPS yet. We only have Yinlin, who sucks. You get what's going on over here, right? It's clearly an underdeveloped archetype, and if she's not Electro at this point, we're fucked. As we're just completely screwed as players, because then nothing in this game is going to make sense anymore, because Rover got the power of Electro from her. So I don't think that there are any questions about that because of the Sentinel's link to like a certain attribute. I don't think that really needs to be explained. So take that as you will. Now we got the archive part, so let's hear like a little bit more. Let's like get back into the story, all that goodness over there. Sentinel Hsin, Guide of Mengzhou's Civilization, deeply emotional and fond of worldly joys. I think the only emotion we've seen from her is that like she's like kind of annoying. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I don't think she's come off like the best throughout the story. Right? Like, I don't think that you as, like, a player or you as, like, maybe, like, even a person, right, are supposed to be thinking, yeah, this Sentinel's doing a lot. Yeah, no, she is truly she's truly a admirable individual. No, I think in a lot of ways, a lot of people are kind of just annoyed with her, right? And so it's almost shocking to see all of these, like, nice little breakdowns of her and her character when we've gotten nothing of that in-game. Yeah, I don't know. I think her reputation is in complete tatters. But that's why there's so much hype for 3.7, right? Because all the people are asking, bro, how can she salvage this? Bro, I made a statement before, and I hope I'm wrong. I publicly said she's more useless than Imperator. And Imperator actively sabotaged region by, like, fucking merging with the Thermodian like a dumbass, and then that's how Resonator happened. So, like, that's what Imperator did, and like, I'm like over here thinking that she's low-key worse, and that's impressive because that stupid unicorn was dumb as shit, right? Like, let's be real here, that dude was dumb as hell, and she's potentially worse. So yeah, she's deeply emotional and fond of worldly joys, like rage baiting people. She has long kept and this is the interesting part. I pre-read this. It's why I've been hyping it up. She has long kept the fires of mortal life burning amid the bustle of trade and the shifting of seasons. So this is kind of like the vibe that I'm getting over here. She's like doing something in the background. She's doing something like secretly to ensure, I guess, the entire land of Mengzhou, or Zhanfang, land of Mengzhou, is surviving and not like blowing up or something. Maybe there's like been like this kind of like super, like a super disease or like a super cancer, right? That's like spreading across the entire region, and then like only her and her cannons, and her 9 tails, right, are like able to stop it. Maybe her tails are like warding off feng shui, feng shui or some shit, and it's like really, it's like if their tails aren't doing that, then like the entire region is fucked. Who knows? I don't. But that's why a lot of people, again, are really looking forward to that part of the story. And so now, last thing that I'll say when it comes to like her and her combat roles. I think that she's obviously going to be what many will consider to be a dual form character. We're all aware, right, that when it comes to like the last Sentinel character that got released into the game, y'all remember this unit, right? She's got 2 forms, right? She's 100% got 2 different forms where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we what are we gonna, longest kid in the fucking game, right? Longest sequence nodes in the game as well, because she's got to have 2 different goddamn nodes for every single one. Yeah, we all remember reading these and we were just like, what the hell is going on over here, bro? I think that we're gonna get this entire situation again for this unit, because I think Kuros realized they can actually farm us like pigs with unit design like this. Because this is what occurred when you pulled this character. Before, she only had 1 best in slot team. Imagine it's Cardathea. You pulled like Chakotay and Hsin, you were good. You never need to pull any more characters for this unit. For this unit, it was Lene Mornier, right? Y'all remember that, right? It was Lene Mornier. And then suddenly, it's like, oh, wait, hold up, wait a second. But you can also play, instead of Lene Mornier, you could also play Denya Chisa too. So now with this one unit, they managed to get 2 of you guys, right, to pull 2 more teams. They managed to make you pull 4 characters, right? 4 characters for 1 unit. That's a lot of money for Kuro Games. That's a lot of dinero, because you don't really feel bad for pulling the other side, because it's just a different way to play, right? You're choosing to pull those additional units. And so I think that that's exactly what's going to happen with this character as well. Probably an Electro Flare form alongside maybe like something else along those lines. Yeah, I think they're just going to double the number of team comps that she has. I would not be surprised about that one at all. And then her ult, yeah, she's gonna fuck some shit up when she's like a big fox. I don't like, what do you expect, man? Like 9 tails just shooting around? We can probably expect the gameplay pretty soon. Now, we've been waiting long enough. What you'll notice is that I've kind of been like stalling a little bit so that this could arrive, because that's gonna give us even more clues about the character. Let's what the fuck? Wait, what is? Okay, good thing I waited. What is that, bro? Holy, what the hell? All right, this is the longest one I've ever seen. I've never seen one this long before. Bro, this is longer than the drip marketing. What the fuck? Anyways, I think this was supposed to be broken into paragraphs, but that's illegal on Twitter. Sentinel Hsin, the Moon Fox's power can divide into many, proliferating new forms at will. Okay, so she can get 9 tails, I believe. She can command such entities to divide and extend according to their essential nature, along with their consciousness, perception, and constitutive Is this like AI translate? Is this like machine I don't even know. This is like the worst English I've seen from the company so far. And constitutive essence, each taking shape as a distinct fractal form. Bro, this seems like it was translated from Chinese to English. Though each fractal form maintains its own existence, it remains tethered to the source, sharing sensation across its proliferations, and can ultimately converge back into a single... I think this basically means that, like, her tails can divide into 9, then break apart, and then, like, latch onto things, and then eventually converge into a single whole. I guess that's a translation of it. This is the craziest language I think I've ever seen, bro. Proliferation, constitutive... Bro, half your players can't read this. Just saying. I can, but like, I know half can't. Bro. Hsin the Moon Fox possesses exceptional mastery in the construction of mechanisms. That's the proof. She likes Legos. You know what? Now that I think about it, that's a neat little bit of characterization, right? She basically just playing with Legos. That's what this is. Just the really big Legos. And then she makes like Bionicles, and then they go like fight people. Yeah, no, she's kind of a nerd. Yeah, now that you think about it, she's just like been playing a little, like playing with Legos this entire time, and then like that's what this whole shebang has kind of like turned into. Yeah, no, wait until she sees the Exo Strider board, bro. They need to have a scene where like her and Imith meet up, and then she like nerds out over the Exo Strider. Bro, she needs to be like those, like, you know those animes, right? Where it's like, it turns out like the girl likes Gundams, and then she starts like raving about them. They need to have like a scene like that for Hsin. Like 100%. She just like goes full Gran Autismo on that shit and just nerds the hell out. That would be cinema. Because I definitely feel like that's the vibe over here. She needs to take a trip to Lahai Roy. Her grasp of the principles governing interlocking mechanisms far surpasses current-day craftsmanship. Wow. By virtue of her power of fractal proliferation, she can extrapolate, reproduce, and even reconstruct existing designs. Her handiwork can be seen behind many of the ingenious devices found throughout Mengzhou City. Okay, so she's like really good at technology. She's kind of like Tony Stark. If Tony Stark had 4 cannons instead of just 2 when he was Iron Man. Anyways, now let's go ahead and see what this full reveal is looking like over here, right? With a little bit of the music, a little bit of that, right? It should be neat, right? Boom. Okay, yeah. All right. So it looks like her little infinity castle is inside of a cube. Yeah, that's what it looks like over here. Okay, all right. So I imagine that Rover and So Ming just got sucked into a little black hole. Yeah, no, that's what it looks like. A little bit Game of Thronesy there too. All right. Okay. All right. Yeah, you can slow down. You can simmer down for a second over there. Goodness gracious. Yeah, no, that was, how would I feel about that one? Honestly, I feel like the music was not what I was expecting. I was expecting kind of like the Infinity Castle music with the Infinity Castle vibe, but we got something like a little bit more peaceful instead. So, yeah, I guess that's that one. I mean, I'm not, like this was neat, but I guess this is the thing. It's all stuff that we've seen before, so it's nothing like too surprising, but I will say I'm pretty sure this is going to be story relevant. Yeah, like whatever is going on over here, I have a big feeling that this is going to be story relevant. So, yeah, be on the lookout for cubes in the, cubes in 3.7. And now the last bit that I'll say. Weapon type. I think she's a rectifier, bro. Like, if she's not a rectifier, I feel like we're gonna have some major issues. Because, bro, all she does is lounge around. Like, straight up, bro, she is the most unserious, lazy-looking pile of boobs I've ever seen, bro. Straight up. Like, dude, she's just lounging around. I cannot see her using a weapon. In no fashion can I see her using a weapon at all. Like, straight up, I don't even think her attack animations are gonna have her doing anything. Like, genuinely, I feel like she's gonna, like, lay down, and then, like, lightning will just attack for her or some shit. Like, she's permanently laying down, and then she goes, like, and then, like, an attack comes out. Like, that's what I bet. She's got, like, Aladdin's carpet or some shit. Or maybe her tails do everything. That'd be cool, too. That's 100% her vibe. And I think a rectifier is kind of like the only thing that actually works. But maybe she'll be Gauntlet. But if she's like a broadsword or something, I'm probably going to blow a gasket. So, yeah, that's going to be Hsin. That's going to be her drip marketing. Holy Hsin. And I do got to say, good job to Kuro Games for launching this one, getting it good to go, getting it all sorted out. Sort of like knowing, right? Knowing that Gamescom is going on. And I do believe that her gameplay, her leaks, it should all be coming relatively soon. Because I have mentioned it before, but we all know that World of Play is like a Tencent event that's also happening later this week. Yeah, August 27th to 29th. And I do believe that, you know, with a lot of these like kind of like big name games over here, kind of like showing up there, like a little bit of that. Yeah, Wu-Wa's there too. So I imagine that Hsin and her gameplay leaks, all of that, they're going to be bundled alongside maybe the launch of this. So perhaps the 27th, right? After So Ming's drip marketing tomorrow. Perhaps the 27th is going to be the prime time in the morning or something like that, because this isn't Yerman time, right? That's when we'll probably get the drop. So yeah, hope you're ready for it. Let me know what you all thought. Peace out.